In the heart of East Africa, Kenya found itself in the middle of an international scandal when a staggering 1.1 tons of high-grade cocaine was seized in different locations. This wasn't just a drug bust, it was the biggest cocaine haul not only in Kenya but also in Africa, worth a mind-blowing 6 billion shillings. This seizure should have been a big win for the war against drugs. Instead, it ended up being a tale so intricate, so bizarre that it would shake the very foundation of Kenya's political establishment. Many movies have been made about crime, and the Artur brothers saga is a story that could easily be adapted for the big screen. In this episode, we'll examine how the Artur brothers embarrassed Kenya on an international stage, how and why they came to Kenya, the impunity and corruption they displayed, and the suspicious privilege they had that could only be provided by having links in top government. There are so many interesting details that you don't want to miss, so be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. In December 14th, 2004, acting on a tip-off, Kenyan police raided locations in Nairobi and Malindi, seizing over 1.1 tons of cocaine packed in 1 kg sachets. The drugs were traced back to Colombia, having made their way through Venezuela. The investigations that followed revealed a complex international drug trafficking operation. Several arrests were made, including an Italian couple who owned the villa in Malindi where some of the cocaine was found hidden in a boat, and a Kenyan named George Kiragu who was already in custody in the Netherlands on similar drug charges. It turned out that Kiragu was a key player, and information from the Dutch police helped connect the dots back to the massive shipment here in Kenya. The seized cocaine was reportedly stored at the GSU headquarters, and that's where things started to get murky. The then Director of Public Prosecutions, Philip Mugo, found himself in hot water when he was sacked minutes before going live on TV.
During this point when I'm trying to ensure a thorough investigation and a proper prosecution, but I had tremendous pushback from those involved. And finally, I had to be fired because I had taken a very strong position regarding this matter.
Some allegations from senior government officials in the Kibaki regime was that you were not a team player. How true is that?
The only way you're a team player when a regime becomes corrupt is that you become corrupt yourself. I refuse to succumb to that.
The cocaine saga also had a tragic consequence. Erastus Chemorei, a senior police officer who reportedly held the key to the store where the cocaine was kept, was killed under suspicious circumstances. His family claimed that he was a troubled man, fearing for his life. The official version of his death was that he resisted arrest, but conflicting accounts from other officers and his family raised serious questions about the circumstances surrounding his killing.
A court in Eldoret termed his killing as unjust.
Wanangu aliwawa na ikajulikana vizuri ni polisi ndio walimuua. Kinachonishangaza ni kwamba kwa nini hao watu hawajashikwa?
By mid-August 2005, rumors were swirling that the seized cocaine was being resold on the streets. The pressure was increasing, and so the police agreed to display the drugs for the media to see and confirm that they were intact. In September 2005, an ex-cop named Richard Nerima was hired as a driver by a wealthy businessman, Raju Sangani. Nerima had no idea this seemingly ordinary job would lead him into the heart of one of Kenya's biggest scandals. That same month, Mary Wambui, rumored to be the second wife of President Mwai Kibaki, and her daughter, Winnie, allegedly traveled to Dubai. There, they reportedly met with Kamlesh Patni, a controversial businessman, who introduced them to the Artur brothers. According to some accounts, the Artur brothers were seen as the perfect solution to the problem of the seized cocaine. The plan was allegedly to have them come to Kenya, posing as investors and security consultants to the Kenyan Police Narcotics Unit, in turn giving them access to the 6 billion shilling cocaine haul. And as if this story wasn't already wild enough, there were even reports that Winnie Mwai became romantically involved with one of the brothers, Artur Margarian. In November 2005, Artur Margarian arrived in Kenya, invited by Raju Sangani. He stayed in the presidential suite of the Grand Regency Hotel owned by Kamlesh Patni. Nerima, Sangani's driver, was assigned to chauffeur Margarian around Nairobi, giving him a tour of the city and taking him to various meetings.
When they came here, I didn't expect them to have a car, so it was my car which went to pick them up, and once or twice I took them for dinner, or maybe more. At the same time, they used to call me and said, please, if I could send my car.
After familiarizing himself with Nairobi, he left for London, leaving his alleged co-conspirators with the task of setting up a company to provide cover for their activities. In December 2005, Brotherlink International was incorporated with Artur Margarian, his brother Artur Sagasian, and Mohammed Zakir Umar listed as investors. The stage was set. On December 13, 2005, the brothers arrived at JKIA, ready to put their plan into action. They settled into their luxurious suite at the Grand Regency and awaited further instructions. Within days, they had applied for and received KRA pins, which they used to register another company, Kensington Holdings Limited, with Winnie Mwai and her mother's close associates, Alois Omita and Julius Mwangi, as co-directors. Then, in a move that raised eyebrows, they applied for work permits, which were surprisingly approved on the same day. They claimed to have millions of shillings in an Emirates bank account that they wanted to invest in Kenya, seemingly facilitating the fast-track approval process. But their activities didn't go unnoticed. The National Intelligence Service, NIS, reportedly became suspicious and conducted a background check on the brothers. What they found was alarming. Their tours were reportedly conmen with no legitimate business in Dubai, and they had even been deported from the UAE in 1994 for attempting to bribe a police officer. This discovery led to a hasty relocation to a house in Runda, a more secluded and affluent neighborhood in Nairobi. It was here that the Artur brothers' true color began to show.
Was meeting with the Tere. The second time I went with the Joseph Kamal, that was to see the one container cocaine.
They threw lavish parties, inviting celebrities and journalists, seemingly trying to build a positive image. But behind the scenes, they were involved in a series of criminal activities, including stealing cars and extorting businessmen.
Hii barabara wamenyang'anya watu magari. Hata ukiobstruct tu hawa wanakunyang'anya. Runda kulikuwa kumejaa magari, hakuna mahali pa kupaka magari.
The situation escalated dramatically on March 1st, 2006. The driver picked up the Artur brothers and took them to Raju Sangani's office. There, they were allegedly issued with certificates appointing them as deputy police commissioners. Later that day, the driver drove the brothers to buy reflector jackets, caps, and wireless radios. The purpose of these purchases was unclear at the time, but it would soon become chillingly apparent. That evening, the driver was instructed to drive the Artur brothers and some associates to the I&M building and Likoni Road. Their target was the Standard Media Group. A few hours past midnight on March 2nd, a group of masked men, led by Artur Margarian, stormed the Standard offices. They disabled the security systems of the I&M building, vandalizing the premises, and caused millions of shillings in damages. The raid sent shockwaves through the nation and was seen as a blatant attack on press freedom. Luckily, KTN had independent cameras separate from the building which captured the whole ordeal. This prompted John Michuki, the internal security minister, later to defend the raid, claiming it was just a government operation confirming the links to the Artur brothers. It is thought that they assumed that Standard was about to publish stories damaging to the government. However, KTN workers denied having any implicating story that they planned to publish.
Yes, and I'm telling you, when you rattle a snake, you must be prepared to be bitten.
Michuki's chilling words comparing the government to a snake that would bite if provoked only served to heighten public anger and fear. Years later, Artur Magarian himself admitted to planning and executing the raid in an interview with KTN journalists.
And we execute the plan.
Why did you raid KTN?
Well, it was information we received that after that article of the Kibaki and Kalonzo secret meetings, so it was information that KTN is having articles on the computers ready to publish.
In the aftermath of the raid, the Artur brothers tried to distance themselves from the scandal by staging a PR stunt at JKIA, pretending that one of the brothers had just arrived from Dubai, but no one was buying it. The government attempted to save face by trying to arrest the Artur brothers at their Arunda home, but the brothers defied the authorities with arrogance and impunity.
Take this guy picture, he hired to come and take me. Abariaka take this guy picture. They hire him to come and arrest me. Why you come here? You have any warrant? Where is your warrant? Who pay you to come here?
Meanwhile, the seized cocaine at the center of this unfolding drama was finally incinerated in the presence of UN officials. This act aimed to demonstrate transparency and silence rumors of the drugs being resold, but it also raised questions about the timing and potential destruction of evidence. The actions had sparked public outrage and international scrutiny, and the pressure on the government to take action was mounting. The final straw came on June 8, 2006 at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The brothers refused to allow their bags to be checked by customs officers. In the ensuing confrontation, they allegedly drew their guns and assaulted one of the customs officers, further highlighting their flagrant disregard for Kenyan law and authority. This incident, coupled with mounting evidence of their criminal activities and their defiance of government's attempts to apprehend them, sealed their fate. The following day, at 5 a.m., police raided their Arunda home and discovered a cache of weapons, ammunition, and suspicious gear. Facing mounting public pressure and international scrutiny, the government finally took decisive action. The Artur brothers and their associates were declared persona non grata and deported to Dubai on a Kenya Airways flight. Their dramatic exit marked the end to their reign of terror in Kenya. But the scandal they left behind continued to reverberate throughout the nation. In response to the public outcry and shocking revelations surrounding the Artur brothers' activities, President Kibaki formed a commission led by former police commissioner Shadrack Kiruki to investigate the scandal. The Kiruki report, however, was met with widespread criticism and accusations of just being a cover-up and the most sensitive info about the Artur brothers and how they operated with impunity remained undisclosed.